I'm stood about as close as you can get, on the ground at least, to the huge amount of work going on near Ravensthorpe, in the Ravensthorpe area. Indeed, behind me is part of what I believe will be the Baker Viaduct itself, probably part of the most spectacular, visibly spectacular in scale work being undertaken, civil engineering work being undertaken for the Transpennine route upgrade. It's a little northern 150 doodle. Anyway, this work is massive, as is the Transpennine route upgrade itself. It is an enormous scheme which is going to increase capacity on the railway by a third. Okay, wait a minute. The scale is enormous, multi-billion pound project. 4-tracking, 3-tracking, electrification throughout, although still not fully confirmed on that front. An enormous amount of work. It is a massively necessary project. It is also decades late. Not the specific project here, I'm not going to blame them. I mean, politically, the Transpennine route upgrade has been kicking around since, well, in all reality, the late 80s. You know, this branch was still open when the phrase Transpennine route upgrade was actually coined. Decades late as a project being delivered by government rather than necessarily the project team here and, you know, Network Rail and all its partners delivering it. And therefore hugely more complex because we're running a huge number more trains back and forth, as illustrated. Actually, the best you can see of this work is if you're on a train. So perhaps we'll talk about what's actually happening specifically here, and maybe a little bit more about TRU from the train itself.
Yes, it is. Hello. Yeah, it's a live one, everyone. It is a live one. We're here to look. We're getting on a 158. Let's see what's going on, shall we? That's a little lovely 158. Yeah. No. First of all, before we travel on that 158 and look out the window, a little bit of context. Here's the drawing of the area that I was just yakking on about. Let's spin it around and sort of zoom in a bit so you can kind of see what I'm referring to. So when we get the train, we're going to be coming in from the bottom end. These are the things you all need to be looking out for. We're going to be coming in from the bottom end, looking out the window across to the site work. The first thing that we're going to come upon is the works will be removing a reverse curve to allow higher through speed. So there's a reverse curve that you can just see the edge of the work associated with it, just a touch of it. Next up, there's the junction itself. I don't know whether it's going to be called Baker Viaduct Junction or Baker Junction or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, the splitting of the 2 tracks as they are from Dewsbury into 4 tracks. So splitting from up main, down main into the ups, downs, fasts, and the up and down slows. With the slows flanking the fast lines above. Then the Baker Viaducts, those massive structures that we'll be able to see from the train quite pleasingly as they cross both the River Calder and the Calder and Hebble navigation, I believe it is there. Then a whole bunch of earthworks for the grade separation itself, the bit where the actual levels of the tracks sort of split out from the viaduct to get to the intersection. So the intersection is where the fast lines go over the top of 4 tracks, in fact, or 4 tracks, basically going on top of the 2 tracks, the 2 slow lines, and also the Wakefield-bound MVN lines that disappear off over a collapsing arch bridge. Actually, it won't be, because that arch bridge, for hello to the Patreon people, that arch bridge will be bypassed, hence probably why it's being ignored. And then it returns to grade at the location of where the new Ravensthorpe station will be as well. So let's have a little look. I'm kind of teeing you up so when you look out the window, you know what you're looking at, like any good tour guide. So the train, ignore those red arrows, the train is coming, for that top picture, the train's coming from the top of the image down through. We'll be looking across. It kind of go through the area where there's the kind of the removal of the reverse curve that you can see up here nicely. You can sort of see it up here. Go through that area, and then we'll see where the viaducts are being launched. We'll see the huge amounts of earthworks. And then the bottom picture will be coming from the right-hand side, scooping around to the bottom bottom left-hand side. And you'll go through, you'll be able to see, in fact, you can see where the track is going to be abandoned in the future. So a load of nice old viaducts are going to be abandoned. I don't know what we'll do with those. There'll probably be Network Rail access roads. That would actually make the most sense, given access in an area that otherwise has no other access. There's no other road access like that, so that makes the most sense as the way to use those. But anyway, once those are in state, kind of abandoned, that'll be the way to get to and from the other side over the 2 watercourses, and you can see all the huge amounts of earthworks that are going. So Let's have a look, shall we? So here we are going along, looking out the window. You can just about here is where that reverse curve is going to be, and you can sort of see a little bit of work that's been going on there. Yeah, that reverse curve. And then just in a minute, we're going to, there's a lot of stuff kind of going in the way. The lovely busyness of the north. As you go through here, and you see my nice reflection, you will just about now-ish start seeing, oh no, not now, yes, now you can start seeing the opening out of the formation where the two alignments separate off. There's a little bit of a cutting here that will go through. That's going to disappear eventually. And then you can start seeing the Baker viaduct. So there's the pier. There's where the unlaunched section of viaduct is. And here's the sections of viaduct that have been built so far. This is as of like earlier this week. So there we go. There's the viaduct. There it is going over the navigation. Trees in the way, better viewed in winter. And here's all the earthwork stuff for the grade separation. A huge amount of work. By the way, behind this I think is going to be an SFC. More on what that is later. And I think a load of power of PVs to add some juice into the railway. Anyway, we're now approaching the intersection structure, so that the structure will take the fasts over the top of everything else. That'll come in here, and then it'll come around the Wakefield lines. The MVNs will actually be slewed away from the current alignment, north of the current alignment, so that there isn't this kind of at-grade thing. Ravensthorpe station will be here, I believe, although not on these lines, although the lines we're actually literally on now won't exist. Then it all ties up together further down. And you can see there's some heavy engineering work going on to kind of adjust the alignment so that the lines will kind of converge at this point, and then we pretty much at this point have tied into there's some additional structure. Anyway, we've tied into that. Marvelous.